Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Pesachim Lamed Beis. We're at the Mishnah on Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis, towards the bottom. 5 lines from the bottom says the Mishnah, Ha'oichel trumas chametz b'Pesach. If one should eat truma, which happens to be chametz and happens to be on Pesach, b'shoigeg, if he was unaware of the fact that it's truma, mishalem keren mechemish, he has to repay the keren, the actual principal, plus add another fifth. So it's actually a quarter, 25%, but it's going to be a fifth of the total repayment amount. So that happens if it was b'shoigeg. However, if it was b'mezid, if he knew full and well that what he was eating was truma, in that case, poter mitashlumin, he's exempt from repayment, umid me'etzim. He doesn't even have to pay back the value of this truma as though it would be firewood. Rashi explains what's speaking about truma, which is tamei, which is suitable to be used as firewood. He doesn't even have to treat it as firewood. He doesn't have to pay the value of the firewood. He's poter completely because it was b'mezid. Now, what's the difference whether he ate it b'shoyeg or b'mezid? Explains Rashi. So Rashi is 7 lines from the bottom of the Amud, in the middle of that line, beginning with Mas Nisan. So if he ate it b'shoigeg, explains Rashi, sheshogeg b'truma. He was unaware of the fact that this is truma. V'afilu hazed b'chametz. Even if he was aware, he knew that it was chametz on Pesach. Even so, mishalem keren v'chaimish. He will repay the value of the keren and the fifth. V'af agav d'lo havi shav yamid. Even though it was worthless, the chametz b'Pesach asur b'hano had no value. The kohen can't do anything with this chametz on Pesach. So why does he have to repay? Miyu, says Rashi, still, shoigeg, the truma. When it comes to a shoigeg by truma, that's unique. It's a different type of repayment. You're not paying necessarily for the value. You're paying on account of the fact that you ate truma. You ate unauthorized truma. Tichsive, says Rashi, because when it speaks about repayment for the shoigeg of truma, the pasuk says, "V'chameshisa v'yosef olav," you add a fifth. V'nosam l'kohen es hakodesh. You have to repay to the kohen es hakodesh. What do we learn from there? Dover haroi le'es kodesh. You can't pay him money. You have to repay produce, fruit, grain, something which can be transformed into truma. You can't pay him the money, the value, monetary value of the truma that he ate. Eloha peris, he has to actually pay him back peris. Guess what? The repaid peris actually turn into truma. They assume the status of the kedusha as truma. Come on, as we're going to see in the upcoming Gemara. So, being that that's the case, apparently, says Rashi, it's not a value-based obligation. Lav lefi domim mishalom. He's not going to pay based on the value of what he ate. He doesn't have to compensate for the value that was lost. Elo lefi midah mishalom. Rather, he's going to pay based on volume. He ate an apple, you repay an apple. Now, if that's the case, hilkach, lav bar sadam mazlina. Therefore, we don't follow the value. Even chametz on Pesach, which is valueless, he's still chayiv to repay. You ate truma, you have to repay what you ate, even if it has no value. It's the achila that obligates you. It's not the value. So that's why the Mishnah says, if it was b'shoigeg, you have to be mishalem keren v'chaimish. However, b'mezid, shehezid b'truma, he knew that he was eating truma. I feel shogeg b'chametz, even though he was unaware that it's chametz. Potem etashlumin, he doesn't have to pay back. Umid me'etzim, he doesn't even have to treat it as firewood. Im truma tmei, if it was truma tmei, ein mishalem me'etzim, he doesn't have to pay as though it would be firewood. Although it was suitable to be used as a firewood under the tafshil, why is he pater? Why is he completely pater? Mishum the truma mezid ein b'chaimish. Because as opposed to the shoigeg by truma, if a person eats truma b'mezid, there's no chaimish. You're not repaying as a kapara, meaning the kohen could be meichelet. It's just a financial obligation. Veinas and truma, and the repayment doesn't turn into truma. The gabi chaimish b'shkagaksiv, because when this pasuk speaks about the chiv of chaimish to be added to the keren, The Torah specifically relates it to a shoygig. Avo b'mezid ein elo kishar gazla ba'alma. But if a person eats truma b'mezid, he's like an ordinary thief, like a gazla. Mashal mois, he has to pay money, he has to pay the value. Well, if you dumb him based on how much it was worth, v'lo if you amida not volume based. The chametz of Pesach lav ba'damim. The asa b'hana chametz of Pesach is valueless. It's asa b'hana. V'af lehesak lav b'chazilei. It wasn't even suitable for firewood. The kohen couldn't even use it in that context. If so, it turns out that he wasn't mafsid of anything. He didn't take a loss on it. It was worthless. Therefore, says the Mishnah, in this case, we ate the truma b'mezid. He knew that it was truma and he ate it b'mezid. In that case, it's a monetary obligation. He's paying lefi domim, value-based repayment method, which doesn't apply by truma, which is chametz on Pesach because it has no value, as opposed to the shoygig, where it's a volume-based repayment obligation. Therefore, even truma's chametz on Pesach, where it's valueless, still necessitates repayment. He has to pay back the keren v'chomish. Continues the Gemara Tanan Hasan. We learned in the Mishnah in Trumais, hoichel truma b'shoygig. If a person should eat truma b'shoygig, mishalim keren v'chomish. Echad ha'oichel, whether he ate it, v'echad ha'shoysa, whether he's drinking, v'echad ha'sach, whether he takes the truma and smears the oil on his skin, echad truma tmeya, v'echad truma tahira, whether it's tamei or tahir, mishalim chomish, he has to add that fifth, v'chumsha the chumsha, and a fifth on top of the fifth. Let's take a look at Rashi. Rashi from the top of the Amud, v'echad ha'sach. Says Rashi, why specifically eating, drinking, and smearing? Damrinim per basa d'yuma. The Gemara explains, sicha k'shtia. Smearing is tantamount to drinking. V'shtia b'chlal achila, and drinking is a form of eating. V'hochaksiv. Now, over here by Truma, the pasuk specifically says, ki yoichal kodesh v'shkogah. If a person eats the Truma v'shogig, then these halachas apply. The Truma, the chomesh, he has to repay the peiros, and etc. So it only applies to a person who consumed, who ate it. The ilu gazla v'shlichal nahar. However, if he would have just stole the truma, tossed it into the river, I feel b'shogig l'yadashi truma. Even if it was b'shogig, he wasn't unaware that it's truma. Ein mishalom chomesh al karen. Then he's exempt from chomesh. This context of chomesh and this whole concept, all these guidelines don't apply to a gazlan. El karen. He paid back the actual value. Kishar mazik chulin da'ama, like an ordinary mazik of chulin. Damar mar, as we're going to see soon in the Gemara. Ki yoichal prat lamazik. The pasuk says ki yoichal kodesh v'shgaga indicates dafka achila. But if he's just going to be mazik, if he ruins the truma v'koyin, then he doesn't have to follow these guidelines. All he has to pay is like an ordinary gazlan, like ordinary thief, ordinary mazik. He pays the value and no more. Therefore, the Mishnah says this concept of chaimish only applies to one who ate, drank, or smeared, which is similar to drinking. What does he pay? The chaimish. The chomesh the chomsha pays a fifth of the fifth, says Rashi. Shetashlum and nasan truma. What it means is like this: if he actually ate the fifth, so you repay the principal and the fifth, and now everything turns into truma, as Rashi explained to us earlier. Everything has the status of truma now. Should he go and eat that fifth b'shogeg, he has to repay the fifth, and also add a fifth to that. Because what he repays becomes truma and assumes the status of ordinary truma. If he turn around and again eat b'shogeg that very chemish that he repaid, he has to go ahead and add another fifth onto that fifth. Continues the Gemara. 3 lines from the top. So they pose the following question: Geshu mishalim. A person eats truma b'shogeg and he goes and repays. Lefi mida mishalim. Is he going to pay based on volume, or lefi davim mishalim, or is it a value-based repayment plan? Let's see Rashi. Right off to the right. Iboilu explains Rashi. What is the background? What is the basis of the shaila? Kiv and the gabe truma b'shogeg. Since we find that by truma b'shogeg kaped rachmana atashlume peiros. Torah is very specific. In particular, it requires him to pay the peiros. You don't pay money, you pay produce. V'lo yimais, k'dachsiv, v'nasim l'koynes ha'kodesh. So, knowing that fact, now let's speculate. L'fei mida mishalim is going to pay according to volume. He ate an apple, repay an apple. Or l'fei dama mishalim, or is going to pay based on value. we take a look at the value of what he ate and has to repay the same value. Of course, he pays back apples, but it's based on the value of what he ate. Explains Rashi. Gazlan de chulin. If a person merely is a gazlan when it comes to ordinary fruit, shoygig or mezid, v'chein gazlan the truest mezid. Likewise, if he stole truma b'mezid, lo boilan. There's no question there. Kivin lo kapir rachman tashlum de tu. Since we don't find Torah's particular about how to repay, you can pay whatever you want. The Amar Yoshev, the Pasuk says you can return l'rabbi tafilu shavet kesef, anything that has value. You don't have to repay anything in specific. But even the germ, the chaff, the skin of the bran of grain, you can pay anything that has value. So if that's the case, vaday lifidam and mishalim, certainly the chiv is to pay based on value. Aval b'truma shoygig. So that applies to all those cases. A gazlan of truma, but when one eats truma shoygig, now we have the question. Now that we know the Torah is particular about how he's going to repay, you have to pay back apples. That's the case. So let's analyze. Is it a volume repayment plan? Is it meant to be based on the midah? You ate an apple, repay an apple? Or is it value based? Take a look at the value of what you ate. You have to repay apples, but it's value based. So this is based on the fact, as Rashi explains, because you're paying specifically viperis. So perhaps what we look at is the produce itself and the volume of what he ate. That's what he's going to repay. We ignore the value. Explains the Gemara, what are the ramifications? Let's proceed in the Gemara. So let's say initially, when he ate the truma, it was worth 4 zuz. And now, when he's at the point of repayment, it went down in value. The same bunch of apples are worth merely a zuz. There's no question that he certainly has to repay based on value. He has to add apples and apples until he gets to the point that they're worth 4 zuz. The vaday k'demikar mishalim. Certainly, he has to repay based on the value, the initial value at the point of consumption. Why? He's no worse than an ordinary gazlan, in which case he's obligated to repay based on the value at the time of the gzela. This non kol gazlan. All the gazlanim is shalman kishas gzela. If for some reason the value of the item that they stole dropped, so they repay. They have to go to repay based on what they stole, the value at the time of the gneva. In this case as well, he had these apples, the truma was shoygig, but now those same apples, that volume is worth much less. Then we can't say that he'll suffice with volume. He has to add enough apples to get to the point that he reaches the value of what he took. Because he's no worse than an ordinary gazlan. So in that case, there's no question that he has to repay an adequate amount. When then will this question apply? The question of whether it's a value-based method or it's a volume-based method. It's going to apply in the following case. Initially, what he ate was worth 1 zuz. But later on, it went up in value. And the same amount that he ate is now worth 4 zuz. Now we have a question. What is Allah? Is he going to pay based on volume? Tamrinle, we tell him, Greva achal, you ate this amount, Greva mishalim, you repay this amount. Even though now, look, it's worth 4 times as much. You have to repay the same amount that you ate. Because it's true of a shaygig. It's volume based. It's different than a gazlan who doesn't have to repay more than the value of what he took. In this case, it's different. It's a volume based. You have to repay the same amount that he took. You ate a pound of apples, return a pound, this weight, this volume of apples. Or perhaps, it's a value-based system, and you only have to repay the value of what you ate. Bezuzah achal, you ate apples which are with a zuz. Bezuzah mishalom, you pay back apples which are with a zuz. You don't have to add. You don't have to go ahead and add. Meaning, if what you ate was worth a zuz at the time of eating, and now it's worth 4, you don't have to pay back the same amount. You can give back much less. Pay back the value of what you took. So which way is it? Is it volume-based or value-based? Amar Rav Yosef Tashma. Listen to this right. Ochal Gregors, the Brisa says, if a person ate dried figs, it was truma b'shoigeg, v'shilam loy tmarim, and he repaid tmarim, dates, which are more valuable, more popular. So he repaid dates in lieu of the figs. Tov al bracha, you should get a bracha. That's the Brisa. Now let's analyze. So it works well if you say that the chiyuv is volume-based. That's why Tov al bracha, he gets a bracha. Why? The achal greva the gregors. This fellow only ate a greva, this volume of dried figs, which are low in value. Dev shavi zuzah, which are only worth a zuz. V'kayoev greva the tamarim. And what is he paying back? The same volume, but tamarim, dates, which are higher in value. Dev shavi arba, which are worth a 4. So of course he gets a bracha. That's if mida mishalom, if it's volume based. So since he's paying the same volume of higher quality, worth more, he gets a bracha. Eli amras lefidam mishalom. However, if you'll say that the chiv is only lefidamim, value based, amai tovel of bracha. So why is this fellow deserving of a bracha? Bezuzah achal, bezuzah kamashal. He ate figs which were worth a zuz, and guess what? He's repaying something which is worth a zuz as well. It happens to be that he's paying that back different material, dates, but it's still a zuz for a zuz. So why is he getting a bracha? Rabbi, lo'olam l'fidam misham. Certainly, the chiv is l'fidam. He took a zuz, he's repaying a zuz. V'amai tovel of bracha. So why is he deserving of a bracha? The ochal midi the lekafet aleisvini. He ate something which is not so popular. Doesn't have such high demand. It's not so easily sold. He ate figs. And he repaid something which is more in demand, something which can attract customers easily. Repay dates. So even though he's repaying the same value, but it's something which can easily be sold, therefore, tavai lavracha. Okay, so we wanted to have a raya from this brisa that lefi mida mishalom, and Abaye negated it. No, lefi damim. The reason why he gets a bracha is because he went lefi mishur sadin and gave something which is more valuable, which is more attractive, can be sold easier. Therefore, he's getting a bracha. Tanan. Let's take a look at our Mishnah in light of this discussion. Ha'ichat trumas chametz of Pesach. The person ate trumas chametz on Pesach. B'shoigeg mishalom karen v'chomish. If it was b'shoigeg, he didn't know that it was truma. Then he has to pay up karen and chomish. Let's analyze. It works well if the obligation is volume based. Sharper, then it makes sense. Because although the trumas chametz on Pesach is valueless, who cares about value? It's irrelevant. It's the volume that obligates him. Therefore, the Mishnah is mechayev keren v'chomish. However, if you maintain that it's value that he has to repay, chametz with Pesach bar dominu, chametz on Pesach has any value, why does he have to pay? He says, yes, hamani, Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, we're following Rabbi Yehuda Kessler. The Omar chametz with Pesach mutabano, even chametz on Pesach itself is mutabano, it has value. That's why he's repaying. If that's the case, let's proceed to the next part of the Mishnah. B'mezid, if he ate it b'mezid, he knew that it was truma, potter, menat tashlumin, meitzim. He's completely potter. Now, let's stop for a second. If we were following the Rabbanan, who hold that chametz on Pesach is valueless, it's asabano, now we can understand the Mishnah. So, if he ate it b'shoigeg, the chiv is lefi mida. It's volume based. We ignore the fact that it's valueless. Value doesn't play a role. It's not part of the equation. Therefore, he has to repay. But if it was b'mezid, in which case it's a value based system, because mezid is just like a gazlan. Value chametz on Pesach is valueless. That's why it's put. That would make sense. But Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, if it's Rabbi Yehuda Kessler who holds that chametz on Pesach is mutabano, it has value. So So why does the Mishnah say that if he ate a b'mezid, he's completely potter? What do you mean? It has value. Savar lo Rabbi Yehuda ben Akana. He holds like Rabbi Yehuda ben Akana, who exempts him from tashlumin because he holds that whenever there's a chiv misa, even bidei shamayim, such as in this case where he ate the truma b'mezid, so he's deserving of misa bidei shamayim, the fact that he's chayiv misa, that exempts him from any tashlumin. This is Rabbi Yehuda ben Akana hayoise es yom kippurim kishabbos l'tashlumin v'chulu. We learned this in the Gemara earlier that when a person is chayiv misa is bezdin. So let's say he is mazik, he harms his friend's property and does a malach on Shabbos. At the same time, he's potter because he's going to get Mrs. Bezdin, Kimla b'derabba minei, and he's potter from the payment. Rabbi Yehuda adds a chiddush that even if the misa is coming min hashamayim, like Karis or like Mrs. Bezdin, that also will exempt him from tashlumin. That explains our Mishnah. In the Reisha, he was shaygik, he didn't know that it was truma, he didn't know that it was chametz on Pesach. In that case, there's no misa b'dei shemayim. He has to repay. What is he going to repay? Perhaps the value, because we're speaking Rabbi Saglili that it has value. Whereas in the Sefer, where he knew that it was, at least that he knew that it was truma. Perhaps he didn't know that it was chametz on Pesach, but truma he knew. So then he's chayiv misa b'dei shemayim, and that is the reason why he's potter. Because when he's chayiv misa, he's potter with tashlumim. That explains the Mishnah. The Mishnah is following Rabbi Saglili. Chametz on Pesach is mutar no. The reason why he's potter from tashlumin in the Sefer because he's amazed and chayiv misa. Continues the market Hanoi. One wants to propose that this question, in a case where a person eats truma b'shogeg, is it volume-based repayment or is it a value-based method? Is contingent on the machlokes Hanoi. The Brisa says ha'oichel trumas chametz Pesach. Our case, he ate truma, which is chametz on Pesach. Potter minat tashlumin umid me'etzem, he's completely potter, even if he ate a b'shogeg. Divrei Rabbi Akiva. Why? Apparently he holds that it has no value. Rabbi Yehuda Chayiv. He says he's chayiv. Apparently he holds that we don't look at value, we look at volume, and therefore he's chayiv. He's chayiv at least in the case where it was b'shogeg, because b'shogeg is volume based. Amar lo Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Akiva challenged Rabbi Yehuda. V'chi ma hano yesh leiba. Why you be mechayivim tashlumin? What benefit does the kohen have from this trumas chametz on Pesach? It's asubano. Well, what do you take from it? Amalei, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Rabbi Kiva. So Rabbi Yochanan responded to Rabbi Kiva. Umahano yeshloi loichel truma tmeya b'shai kol yimos hashana shemishalim. You know, the Truma Tmeya throughout the year, what value does it have? What benefit does it have to the kohen? So if a person eats Truma Tmeya throughout the whole year, why is he repaying the kohen? So what he meant to say is like this. You're right, even though it has no value, but when a person eats Truma b'shogeg, it's not a value-based chiv, it's a volume-based chiv. He ate apples, he has to repay apples, whether it has value or not. Therefore, on Truma, on Pesach, even if it's chametz, he has to repay. So this seems to be the machlokes. Rabbi Kiva, who's working with value, therefore he's potter. Rabbi Yehuda is working with volume, therefore he's chayiv. Continues the Brisa. So Rabbi Yehuda asked him, well, Truma Tmeya throughout the year, why would he have to pay then? And it has no value. Hamaloi. So Rabbi Kiva responded, how could you compare? Loi. Im amris, but Truma Tmeya, if there's a chiyuv, when a person eats truma tmeya throughout the year, even though the kohen can't eat it, can use it as fuel. It has value. That explains why he has to pay. How could you compare it to the case of chametz on Pesach? The kohen doesn't have any benefit. He can't eat it or use it as fuel. What can it be compared to? The trumas. Tusim v'anovim, to the truma of berries, of grapes, shenitma, that became tamei. She'ein lo ba, lo yater achila, lo yater hasaka. The kohen has no benefit. He can't use it for achila or hasaka. It's something, fresh fruit, something wet, can't be used for fuel. So it's something valueless. Likewise, Trumas Chametz on Pesach is valueless. So indeed, it seems that their debate revolves around our discussion. Lefi Mida or Lefi Damim. Right? Rabbi Kiva holds he's pater on a Trumas Chametz on Pesach because it has no value. And even when a person eats Trum b'shogeg, he's chayiv to pay based on value, lefi damim. Whereas Rabbi Yehuda holds, true, it has no value. But when a person eats Trum b'shogeg, the chiv tashlumin is lefi mida. It's volume based. Therefore, he has to repay. Continues the Brisa with one more thing. But when do we say that there is such a concept of Trumas Chametz on Pesach? When can it even be possible? A person separated his Truma and then became Chametz. So we can have a phenomenon of Trumas Chametz on Pesach. Aval Mafish Trumas Chametz, but if a person should initially separate Truma, which is already Chametz, on Pesach, all agree it doesn't work. It doesn't become Truma, as will be discussed in the upcoming Gemara. Okay. So in any case, we have a conclusion that our question, the boilu, which we asked earlier, a person eats Truma b'shogeg, we see that the Torah is particular about repaying payrois. Is it a volume-based repayment plan, or is it a value-based method? It seems to be Machlekes Tanai, to Rabbi Kiva, Rabbi Yehuda. Tan Idach, we have yet another brisa. V'noslan kohen es hakodesh. Person eats a Trum b'shogeg, so he repays the kohen es hakodesh. Dovar haroi le'es kodesh. So he has to pay to the kohen something which can now assume the status of Truma. And this indicates that he ate something. What he ate, the Truma that he ate, is something that if he would repay that type of thing, it can turn into Truma. It can assume the status of Kedusha of Truma. What do we learn from here? Prat, as opposed to Lo'ichel Trumas Chametz Pesach. A person eats Trumas Chametz on Pesach. In that case, he's potter. Shepotter men tashlumim umid me'etzim divrei Rabbi Yehuda ben Yaakov. Why? Because, as we just said, just a minute ago, if a person should take chametz and decide to turn it into truma on Pesach, it won't work. You can't apply the status of truma to chametz. You can't make chametz into truma on Pesach. So therefore, if a person eats truma's chametz on Pesach, it already happened to be truma because it was truma before Pesach. If he goes and eats that on Pesach, he's potter, because if he should decide to repay that very same type of thing, it won't work. It won't turn into truma. So the pasuk is exempting this fellow from repayment, according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Yaakov. Rabbi Yehuda Chizma Mechayiv, he says no, he has to repay. Amar lo Rabbi Yehuda ben Yaakov l'Rabbi Chizma. He challenged Rabbi Yehuda Chizma. He says, okay, let's say you don't agree with my drasha. I came up with this drasha that since the repayment, the material that's going to be paid back has to turn into truma. So if he eats truma's chametz, since if he repays that very same type of thing, it can't turn into truma. So he's potter. Okay, let's say you don't agree with that source to be poiter the oichel chametz. But let's just speak just on practical terms. What did he take from the kohen? What benefit does the kohen have from trumas chametz on Pesach, which is also about no? So what did he take from him? So Rabbi Chizma responded, what's with an ordinary person who ate truma tmeya throughout the entire year? Why does he have to pay? What does the kohen have from it? What was he mafsid the kohen? Amar lois, he said very simple. Loi, im amris with truma tmeya, b'shayimais hashana. Yeah, throughout the year, truma tmeya, yeah, it has value. Shafa bisha ein le'baheter achil, even though the kohen can't eat it, yesh le'baheter asaka, he can use it as fuel. So he took something from the kohen. Tomer bezu, as opposed to this case, on Pesach itself, shein le'ba lo yater achil, lo yater asaka, can't use it for eating or for fuel. So it has no value. And even when a person eats truma b'shogeg, it's a value-based system. It has no value, so he's pot. Amalei. So Rabbi Yehuda Chizma responded, Af bezu yesh le'baheter asaka. Even in this case, they can use it for fuel. Shemratza kohen, the kohen chooses, He can be maritz elfnei kalba. He can place it in front of his dog, feed it to his dog, or he must use it as fuel under his pot. So according to Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, it's mutar b'hana. Apparently he holds like Rabbi Yitzchak Glili. The chametz on Pesach is mutar b'hana, so it has value. So this entire brisa is following a value concept. It's a value-based repayment. Chiv. So that's where Rabbi Yaakov says, well, it has no value. Rabbi Kessler responded, it has value. He concurs with Rabbi Glili, who holds that chametz on Pesach mutar b'hana, so it has value. Rabbi Yaakov disagrees. He holds like the Rabbanan. The chametz on Pesach is asur b'hana, has no value, so he's potter. So it turns out that Rabbi Yaakov holds that it's asur b'hana, unlike Rabbi Glili, and in the earlier brisa as well, the machlekes between Akiva, Rechab, and Nuri. In the case where a person eats trumas chametz on Pesach, Akiva says he's potter. Rabbi Yehuda says it's chayiv, and it seemed that all agree that the chametz on Pesach is asur b'hana. The fact is, nobody discussed that it's mutar b'hana. They had a whole discussion back and forth, and nobody said, "Well, it's mutar b'hana." In contrast with our most recent conversation, where Rabbi Yehuda Kessler responded clearly, "It's mutar b'hana." I hold like Rabbi Glili. In the earlier discussion, we have no mention of that. Apparently, all agree that it's asur. The machlekes revolved around the question of whether the chiv of repayment by trumas shogig is a value-based repayment plan, in which case it's potter, it has no value, or it's a volume-based system, in which case it's chayiv. But all seem to agree that it has no value. So both Rabbi Kiva, Rabbi Nuri, and now Rabbi Yaakov will hold that chametz on Pesach is asur b'hana, unlike Rabbi Yitzchak. In fact, Amar Abaye made a list for us. It's Abaye's practice throughout Shas. Many times he makes lists of different shittas that seem to hold like each other. Amar Abaye, Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Nuri, Kulu Svirlu, chametz b'Pesach asur b'hana. They all agree that chametz on Pesach is asur b'hana, unlike Rabbi Yitzchak. Uba pligi. The machlekes, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Nuri, in that previous brisa, Rabbi Akiva says that if a person eats the truma chametz on Pesach b'shagi, he is potter. And Rabbi Yechon says it's chayiv. What's the pshat in that machlekes? Uba pligi. Rabbi Akiva savar lifi dam mishalom. It's a value-based chiv. It's valueless. Chametz on Pesach is worthless. It's potter. Rabbi Yechon Nuri savar lifi midam mishalom. It's a volume-based system, and therefore he has to pay. Pshita says, well, of course, that must be the pshat. What's Abaye coming to add by compiling this list? Perhaps there will be room to say that Rabbi Yehuda Nuri Nami, perhaps Rabbi Yehuda Nuri, who says that he has to pay back for the trumas chametz that he ate. Perhaps he holds like Rabbi Akiva, the Amar mishalim, that he only has to pay back based on value. So why does he have to pay for the chametz? Why does Rabbi Akiva obligate? Because he holds like Rabbi Yitzchak. The Amar chametz b'Pesach mutar b'hana. He holds that you could have enough from chametz on Pesach, so it has value. Perhaps that's the basis of Rabbi Yehuda Nuri's shita, because he holds that it has value. Kamash malon. That's why Abaye is coming to tell us no. Both Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda Nuri hold chametz on Pesach is asur b'hana. It's only that Rabbi Akiva holds that the chiv is lefi domim, based on value, and since it has no value, it's potter, whereas Rabbi Yechanan is working with volume, and therefore, even though it has no value, it's chayiv. Says the Gemara Kamash Malon, that's why Abaye is coming to inform us the correct pshat. Very machanami. Well, perhaps that's not the pshat. Perhaps you're correct in your suggestion that no, all hold that it's a value-based system. The reason why Rabbi Yechanan obligates is because he holds it has value. Because like Rabbi Yechanan, how does Abaye know that that's not the correct approach? Im Kain, because if that was really so that Rabbi Yehuda Nuri holds chametz on Pesach is mutar b'hana, why didn't he indicate as such in his response to Rabbi Akiva? Nehadali, Rabbi Yehuda Nuri, Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Yehuda Nuri should have responded to Rabbi Akiva in the same manner as Ki Heichida Mahadali, Rabbi Yehuda Chisma, Rabbi Yaakov. In the same way that Rabbi Chisma responded to Rabbi Yaakov. When he was challenged, he said, why are you being mechayven to pay for the Trumas Chametz on Pesach? What did Rabbi Chisma respond? He said, because it has value. Why didn't Rabbi Yehuda Nuri respond in the same manner when he was challenged by Rabbi Akiva? Apparently he agrees to Rabbi Akiva that it has no value. Rather, he holds that despite the fact that it's valueless, he's still chayiv because the chayiv is volume-based, and not value-based. So indeed, Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda Nuri really hold that Chametz on Pesach is asur b'hana, and this supports a biased contention that all these three shittas, Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Yehuda Nuri, indeed agree that Chametz on Pesach is asur b'hana. So in conclusion, we learned that in contrast to a person who eats Truma b'mezid, where the chiv tashlumin is merely value-based. However, when he eats Truma b'shayig, that's a different type of tashlumin. He has to pay the produce, which turns into Truma. It's a kapara, he has to add a chomish. So that presents a question. Is it volume-based? So what he ate, he has to repay. He ate an apple, repay an apple. It's volume-based. Or, here as well, do we work with value? So the Gemara attempted to bring some rice. We began with a rice from a brisa, which discussed paying for figs, for dates, which Abaye negated as not being a raya. Then we proceeded to our Mishnah, which discussed one who eats Trumas Chametz on Pesach, and then from there we proceeded to another brisa, and then yet to another brisa. So now Mishnah we learned that if a person eats Trumas Chametz on Pesach, b'shogig is chayiv, b'mezid is pot. The Gemara says, well, perhaps our Mishnah is following Reis Aglili, Chametz on Pesach is mutar b'hana, and indeed our Mishnah holds that even b'shogig it's value-based. It has value, it's mutar b'hana. That's why b'shogig is chayiv. The reason why b'mezid is pot is because he's getting misa, because he ate the truma b'mezid, and when a person has misa, he's potter from tashlum. We proceeded with a brisa where, indeed, it seemed pretty obvious that the machlekes there revolves around this very question. Rabbi Yehuda Nuri says he has to pay for the trumas chametz that he ate b'shogig, and Rabbi Akiva says he's potter. The Gemara says, well, it appears all agree chametz on Pesach has no value. It's asur b'hana. According to Rabbi Yehuda Nuri, he has to pay because the chiv is l'fi mida, volume based. Therefore, he has to repay what he ate. Rabbi Akiva says he's potter. L'fi damim mishalm. It's value based. Therefore, it's valueless on Pesach, and therefore he's potter. We have another brisa where it seems all hold that the chiv is l'fi damim, and therefore Rabbi says, Rabbi Chisma says he's chayiv because although it's l'fi damim, it has damim. Chametz on Pesach is mutar b'hana. Rabbi Yaakov says he's potter because it has no value. Chametz on Pesach is asur b'hana. Continues the Gemara Tanur Rabbana. Now we're going to speak about a person who ate chametz, a person who ate truma throughout the year, not necessarily trumas chametz on Pesach. So we know that if he ate it b'shogig, he pays a keren, a chomish, he has to pay back periods which turn into truma. Now what is the share of that achila? How much does he need to eat in order for him to have to conform to all these repayment specifications? Tanur Rabbana ichel kazayis truma, if he ate a kazayis of truma, mishalom keren v'chomish. Abba Sholaimer, Hashihei by Shavar Pruta. It needs to be a Shavar Pruta. So according to Tanakama, it's Achila based. Hamas Achila, which is a Kazais. Not only that, necessitates the Karen V'chomish. Whereas according to Abba Shol, it's value. It has to have at least a Shavar Pruta. My time at Tanakama, what is Tanakama's reason? Amakro, Bi'ish Ki Eichal Kodesh V'shkoga. Person eats Kodesh V'shkoga. He has to go ahead and pay the Karen V'chomish. V'achila B'kazais. Achila indicates a Mas Achila, which is a Kazais. Abba Shol, my time, what is Abba Shol's reason? Amakra v'nasan. That very same pasuk says v'nasan l'koynes hakodesh. V'nasan is something of value. V'ein nasina pachas b'shavar pruta. Apparently, this concept only applies to truma which has a value of b'shavar pruta. What does Abba Shol do with yoichal, which indicates achila? Ahu prat l'mazak udas. It's coming to exempt a mazak. If he merely damages the truma rather than eats it, then there's no chiyuv of keren v'chomish. It's just a regular mazak. He has to repay the value. Tanakama oksiv v'nasan. What did Tanakama do with the word v'nasan? Hahu me'boile. That's needed l'dava haroiles kodesh to tell you v'nasan the kodesh hakodesh. He must repay produce which will turn into truma. Tanur Rabban ha'eichel truma pachas b'kezayis mishalmes hakeren If he eats less than a kazayis, he has to repay the principal value, but not the chaimish. Let's keep in mind that two things are happening simultaneously. When a person eats this true b'shagi, number one, he's taking something that doesn't belong to him. It's like a regular ganav. Of course, he has to repay the value. There's no question. Even if it's less than a kazayis, he has to repay what he took. The additional concept of the chaimish and all those other guidelines, that is unique to a person who did a proper achila on the truma. He was a non-kain who diverted the truma to himself. That is unique to kazayis. So if he ate less than a kazayis, where he doesn't have to pay the chaimish, he still has to pay the keren like an ordinary gazlan. So if he eats less than a kazayis, as the brayso of mishalmas keren, he pays the principal. Hey Chitami, what are we speaking about? Either less pay shavar pruta. It's not a shavar pruta in value. Keren amigdal l'shal. Even the keren he should be potter from because it has no value. If it has a shavar pruta, chaimish nami l'shal. Why is he exempt from the chaimish? Of course it has a shavar pruta. Even so, give the less by kazayis because it has no kazayis. Mishal masa keren, and mishal masa chaimish. Since he didn't do a proper masa achila, keren he has to pay because he took something of value. But a chaimish is specific to a masa achila, which in this case is absent. Amru Rabbona Kamid Rapapa. So the Chachamim presented in front of Rapapa as follows. Apparently, this Mishnah here, Hodoloi Kabashol, it's not following Rabbi Shol's sheet. Why? The Kabashol, because according to him, Ha'amar, didn't he just say, Kivan sheyesh b'shavar pruta. Once this truma has value of a shavar pruta, afagav deleis be'kazayis. He has to pay the chaimish even if it has no kazayis, because according to Rabbi Shol, it's value based. Omar Lu Rapapa responded, no, I feel tame Abba Shol. This Mishnah can be followed even Abba Shol. You know why? Abba Shol tartiboy. Abba Shol requires two things, two specifications to be met. Number one, it has to be shavar pruta. Number two, it has to be a kazayis. So according to this approach, Tanakama says kazayis is the key. Abba Shol says two conditions need to be met. It has to be a kazayis and a shavar pruta to necessitate the chaimish. Umiboy Abba Shol Tati, is that so that Abba Shol requires two conditions to be met? Kazayis and shavar pruta? But none. We have a Mishnah which indicates otherwise. Abba Shol Leimer. Eshe yesh boy shavar pruta, chay b'tashlumin. If it has a shavar pruta, then he has to repay the keren and the chaimish. Eshe ein b'shavar pruta, but if it doesn't have a shavar pruta, ein chay b'tashlumin. He doesn't have to repay the keren and the chaimish. He's potter from the chaimish. Because shavar pruta value is the key. Amr Loi Chacham responded, no. Amr shavar pruta, ela le'inyam me'ila bavad. This concept of value applies elsewhere. To me'ila, a person diverts the assets of the hegdish for personal use. That's value based. That's monetarily based. It's shavis. That works according to value shavar pruta. Avala truma, when it comes to the chiyuv for truma, that's masa achila based. A shavar pruta is not enough. It needs to be a kazayis. Now, let's analyze their response. If it's true, indeed, that according to Abba Shol, you need to have the kazayis and the shavar pruta. And when Abba Shol said, well, you only chayiv if it has a shavar pruta, meaning kazayis is not enough. In addition to kazayis, it needs to be a shavar pruta. That's what he's coming to tell the Chachamim. When he said esheyesh bo shavar pruta chayiv tashlumin, he meant to say like this: that you're speaking about a kazayis, that's not enough according to me. In addition to the achila, you need to have the value. So if that's the case, so when the Chacham responded to him, how should they have responded? They should have said, well, this kazayis is enough. You don't need that additional condition, additional factor of shavar pruta. If that's the case, that we're already speaking about a kazayis, and Abba Shol is merely coming to you machmer, kazayis is not enough. You need to also have shavar pruta. So the Chacham responded. He should have said like this: Kivan sheyesh b'kazayis min baile. They should have said, well, as long as it has a kazayis, that's enough. You don't need that additional factor of shavar pruta. Again, if you're correct in your approach that all agree a kazayis is mandatory, Abba Shol is merely coming to you machmer. In addition to the masa achila of kazayis, you also need to have a shavar pruta. So we're speaking about something which is a kazayis. And Abishol comes and says, well, that's not enough. You need to have a Shavah Pruta. So the Chacham's response should have been, no. Kiva sheish b'kazayis. As long as it has a kazayis, it's enough. Which in this case it has. You don't need that additional factor of Shavah Pruta. But instead of saying that, they said, Ein chayiv ad sheyeh b'kazayis. He's not chayiv until there's a kazayis, which indicated that Abishol was speaking about something which didn't have a kazayis. He goes, Shavah Pruta is the key. All you need is Shavah Pruta. You don't need a kazayis. And they responded, no, Shavah Pruta doesn't do much. You need to have a kazayis. So it's pretty clear that the shitas here are two extremes. Tanakama requires achila and not Shavah Pruta. Abishol requires Shavah Pruta and not achila. So it's pretty clear that according to Abishol, all you need is Shavah Pruta and not a kazayis. So apparently the earlier Mishnah, which required a kazayis, is not in line with Abishol. Says Gemara to Yufta, indeed this is a refutation to that approach, and Abishol only requires a Shavah Pruta, not a kazayis. V'afra Papa Hadabei. The truth is that Rav Papa himself was chayzer, and he agreed that according to Abishol, all you need is a Shavah Pruta. The son. V'chota b'shgaga. Pasuk is speaking about Me'ilah. He took the acid of Hegdish and diverted it for personal use. So he did the chet b'shgaga, so he brings a carbon, prat l'mezid. As opposed to a person who did me'il b'mezid, he's part of him carbon. V'alei dinu, why do we need a pasuk? We can learn it from a kabbalah. That mezid exempts from carbon. Uma shar mitzvahs. Since we find by other mitzvahs. Person 8, chelev dam, shechiyev ban kares, a Torah was mechayev kares b'mezid. Paiter b'anes ha-mezid. The Torah exempted it. A mezid. For person 8, chelev and dam, knowingly, he's part from carbon. So, despite the fact that it's very stringent, that there's a kares involved, nevertheless, there's no chiv carbon by mezid. Certainly, me'ilah she'ein b'kares, that doesn't even have kares. So that makes it more lenient. Ein din shepata is a mezid. Certainly, if he's a mezid, he's part from carbon. So why can we use this kabel chomer to teach us this halach? Why do we need a pasuk that me'ilah is part from a carbon by mezid? Says the Gemara, loy im amres b'sham mitzvahs. Perhaps you can't use this kabel chomer. Perhaps other mitzvahs, yeah, they're more lenient than the me'ilah. Why? Shekein lo yichiv behen misa, because the Torah doesn't apply a misa b'yeshamayim to other averis. There's only curse, there's no misa. Toima b'me'ilah shechayv b'misa. As opposed to me'ilah, where the Torah was mechayv misa. So since shechiv b'misa, that's a stringency and a mila, an advantage that me'ilah has over the other mitzvahs. And perhaps even by a mezid it would be carbon. Tamalei b'shgoga, prat l'mezid, the pasuk says, no, only a shogeg brings a carbon, not a mezid. Now we have a difficulty with this brisa because initially we said, well, we can learn it from a kabel chomer. Because other mitzvahs that have an advantage, they have kares. There's no carbon by mezid. Of course, me'ilah doesn't even have kares. It's more lenient. It doesn't have kares. It's potter. It's certainly potter. And then we turn things around. We said, well, maybe other mitzvahs are more lenient because they don't have misa. But me'ilah has misa, and it's an advantage. Perhaps it's more stringent. So initially, kares was carried more weight, and now misa carries more weight. Which one is it? V'amalei Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, the Rav Chia bar Abba. Hi Tana, this Tana, meikara initially, alimulei kares. Kares carried more weight. Ulubasayif alimulei misa, and eventually misa carried more weight. Which one is more stringent? Is it kares or is it misa? V'amalei Rav Chia bar Abba responded, certainly kares is more stringent. The last part of the brisa was not trying to tell you that misa is more chamer. Hachikama, simply, this is what the brisa was saying. So you want to say, well, if other mitzvahs, despite the fact that they're more stringent, they have kares, they're pata from carbon by mezid, certainly me'ilah, which doesn't have kares, will be exempt. Well, not so fast. Loy im amres b'sham mitzvahs. Perhaps that applies to other mitzvahs. Shekein loy chiv ben misa b'pachas mekazayis. There isn't even a chi of misa. Even the misa there isn't. With less than a kazayis of chelev or dam. Right? He's part from misa. Toima b'me'ilah. Shechiv misa b'pachas mekazayis. As opposed to me'ilah where the Torah was mechayiv misa, even with less than a kazayis. So perhaps me'ilah has that added stringency. And perhaps you can't learn me'ilah from other mitzvahs. And maybe by me'ilah, due to this added stringency, that there's a chiv even less than a kazayis, perhaps there's a carbon, even by mezid. So that's the pshat in the brisa. Certainly curse is mochamer. The brisa wasn't indicating otherwise. Merely, we would bring a right from the fact that Me'ilah has chiv even less than kazayis. That perhaps is an advantage and perhaps negates the kavachem. V'amar lei, and Rach Mar Yitzchak responded to Rechi bar Avin, very nice. Tunoch datcha, your spirit should rest. Shinachtas data, you've rested my spirit, and you've allayed you addressed my concerns with the brisa, and now everything is fine. V'amar lei, and Rechi bar Avin responded, why are you getting so excited? My nechusa, why is the brisa so good now? The Rabbi Rav Sheshes, both Rabbi Rav Sheshes, shadu be'narga. They threw an axe at this pshat. They cut it, meaning they negated this pshat. This can't be the proper pshat in the brisa. Why? You can't say that the brisa is telling you that there's a chiv misa by me'ilah with less than a kazayis. Why? Why doesn't it work? Man shamas le da'amar. Who is the shita who said, here's it b'me'ilah b'misa? If a person did me'ilah b'mezid, he gets misa. Who is this man da'amar? Rebbe. It's Rebbe. Desanya. Here's it b'me'ilah. If a person does me'ilah b'mezid, what is the einish? Rebbe Omer b'misa, he gets misa b'dei shemayim. V'chacham Omer b'azora, it's merely a lav. My time of the Rebbe. What is Rebbe's reason for misa? Omar Rabbi Avo, Gomar chet mitruma. He uses exer shava. It says chet over here. It says chet by truma. Ma truma b'misa, just as truma carries a einish misa b'dei shemayim. Af me'ilah b'misa. Likewise, me'ilah has misa. Now, if we're connecting me'ilah to truma, we have to go all the way. Umina. Let's derive further. Ma truma b'kazayis, just as the chiv misa by truma is on account of eating a kazayis, less than a kazayis, does not bring about misa. Af mila b'kazayis. Likewise, the chiv misa by mila only involves a kazayis. So apparently, the chiv mila is not going to apply to less than a kazayis. It doesn't work otherwise. Meaning, if the brisa is indicating that there's a chiv misa, apparently we're following Rebbe. How do you know misa by mila? From truma. And truma only involves a kazayis, because it says ki yoichal. And yoichal is a kazayis. So this pshat in the brisa won't work. You can't apply misa by meila with less than a kazayis. So that was Rabbi Rav Shesh's negation of this pshat. Umaskal Rav Papa. Rav Papa responded and objected, no, it works. 1 second. Mimai the Rebbe K'Rabbanan Svirle. True Rebbe who holds that Me'ilah has misa, which is derived from Truma. But how do you know what is the shear by the chiv of Truma? We know there's a machlokes between Rabbanan who say it's a chiv by kazayis, and Abba Shol who says you don't need a kazayis. A shavar pruta is sufficient. So perhaps Rebbe holds like Abba Shol. A chiv of Truma applies to less than a kazayis. Mimai the Rebbe K'Rabbanan Svirle. How do you know that holds like the Rabbanan that a kazayis is a shir? The Makabah Shol Svirle. Perhaps he holds like Abba Shol. The Amar Yeshba Shavar Pruta. Once the Truma has a Shavar Pruta, Avagav the Lesba kazayis. Even if it doesn't have a kazayis, he's chay. So everything works. The brisa indicates that there's misa by me'ilah with less than a kazayis, because Rebbe, who holds misa by me'ilah from Truma, holds that the shir by Truma is also less than a kazayis. Now, Rav Papa, didn't Rav Papa himself say, Hu Damar, he himself said, that Abba Shol Tarti Boy, that according to Abba Shol, you need both conditions by Truma, Shavar Pruta and a Kazayis. And here he's saying otherwise. According to Abba Shol, all you need is a Pruta. It's pretty clear that Rav Papa backed off from that. And he holds that according to Abba Shol, all you need is Shavar Pruta. You don't need a Kazayis. So in conclusion, according to Tanakama, the Chiv of Truma is by a Kazayis, Achila. According to Abba Shol, it's just a Pruta. It has to have something of value. You don't need a kazayis. Okay, time for a brief chazara of today's daf. We learned if a person eats truma, if he eats b'mezid, it's just like a gazlan, has to repay the value. But if it's b'shoigig, then he has to repay produce, he has to add a chomesh. It's a kapara, the coin can't be meichlet. And the question is he going to pay based on value or on volume? The Gemara concluded it's a machlokes tanai. And we concluded regarding the shear of achilas truma, which necessitates the tashlumin of the chomesh, etc. According to Tanakama, it's achila based, which is a kazayis. According to Abba Shol, it's value based. It needs to be a shavar pruta.